Yo, what's going on, guys? Jared here. Just really quickly, I just went undefeated at locals with Orcust Bystial. This deck was really solid. It performed better than I was expecting. And I just wanted to show you guys the deck list because, going first place with a very rogue, literally on January 1st for the new ban list, I figured it would be the perfect time to show you what I am messing with. So right now, I'm just going to jump right into it. And then at the end of the video, I'm just going to show you what the, standard combo line is at the very end. So for the Orcust lineup, 3 copies of Girsu and 3 copies of Nightmare. This would be your starter cards. This is how you start your lines for most hands, I would say. And then for the other Orcust cards would be 1 Skeleton, 1 Wand, and 1 Horror. Horror could also be a starter card, so this could be over here if you wanted to. It accomplishes the same thing. So it's really strong, of course. So this is the Orcust monsters, and then the 1 Crescendo is the only trap I am playing. You guys have bullied me about World 1 this entire time I've been playing this deck. I played it today. It came up one time. It came up one time. I do not find this card necessary. I still don't, even with that one time, because I think I could have won anyway. So it's fine. It's good, but this could just be a brick. Is this card going to... The question you have to ask yourself is this card going to brick you more, or is it going to win you games more? And in a Runick deck where you're drawing cards all the time, and this card is not used in your combo, I don't think this card is worth it in this build. That is my opinion, and if you're an Orcust player and you disagree with me, that's fine. I'm a Runick player, so that's just how I see it. So that's my logic behind that. But if you want to play it, you can. It's fine. Next up, the Bystials. I did play a small Bystial package because the Orcust and the Bystials go together so nicely. 3 copies of Lubellion, 1 copy of Saronir, 1 copy of Druisworm, and 1 copy of Magnemite. Again, these are just solid. Bystials aren't great in the format now, in upcoming format, but their engine itself is so good, and Lubellion is what you really want to find. Magnemite is okay, of course, but Lubellion, to be able to get to your regained immediately, is crazy, especially in tandem with Orcust cards, of course. So a double regain with the Lubellion, so you have like a 5-3 ratio of seeing this card, of getting to it. Even drawing this card's fine, just so that you can put back your Orcust Nightmares and get a free draw. Like, it'll replace itself immediately, I would say 99% of the time. This card also makes SP Little Knight way scarier. Same thing with Sleipnir, way scarier, so just something to keep in mind. And then for the last monsters I'm playing in the deck is just 2 copies of Ash Blossom as hand traps. Again, a lot of people say, oh, what's just Ash going to do? When you're playing just a, minor, a single interaction deck where everything is 1 interruption, 1 interruption, 1 interruption, these add up and you don't want them to be dead, so I think 2 is just fine. 3, you draw 2 of them, you're really upset about it. So I think 2 is just fine. You want to draw and do it off your Runicks, just as extra interruptions. So that is it for the non-Runick cards. And then for the Runick cards, we have 3 copies of Fountain and 3 Tip, 3 Flashing. I have finally upgraded all of them. 3 Curses, 3 Slumber, 3 Destruction, and 3 Dispelling. I still believe this is the right ratio. I will die on this hill forever. Yeah, and that's it. So I finally have upgraded my Runick cards. I have all the Ultras that come out in Ultra. I wish Dispelling was an Ultra. And I have my Collector Rare Runick Tips and Fountain. So very happy about that. Just a little update because I've been playing this deck so long, I can finally warrant myself purchasing them. So that is it for the main deck. For the extra deck, we have 2 copies of Hugin, 1 copy of Sleipnir, and 2 copies of Jerry. Yeah, I just think this is fine. There's not really much to talk about. I will say, I think Sleipnir came up way more today than it might have ever, because I think I made this game at least once a match. And it's just so good. I can't stress enough how important a card like this is, and how it forces so much interaction out of your opponent in times where you really wouldn't think it would, but it does. Next up, the Orcust cards. 1 copy of Galatea, because you want to play the 1 target. 1 copy of Long Girsu. This card never came up. You can probably switch this for something else. 2 copies of Ding Girsu. These are kind of like your long game, right? This is what can bring back the symbol skeletons and give you extra bodies to keep going as the game goes on. So this is your long game along with the, the World Wand in this build. So, and then of course shuffling back with Galatea as well. So you have a lot of long game in this deck, which is very nice. Because once you get past a certain point with the Orcusts, the Runick cards will pick up. And the nice thing about the Orcust cards is they go through most of their engine by themselves. It's kind of like a reminiscent of Sprite in that way, where you're going through so many of the other engines so quickly that your Runick draws become higher quality because of it, which is extremely nice. That's it for the Orcust and the extra deck. Again, Long Girsu never came up. I never summoned it. You could probably replace this with something else. For the generic cards of the extra deck, IP Masquerena, SP Little Knight, and Linkuriboh for the Links, Chaos Angel and Dissipator for the Synchros, and Typhon for the last Exceed. I never made Typhon today. Dispotter was solid, not exactly amazing, but when it came up, it was nice. It's just a nice little extension piece. Chaos Angel actually came up quite a bit today, and Linkuriboh never came up today. These two came up all the time. This is probably your main go-to for the deck. I think that SP Little Knight should be a 2 of in this deck. I just do not own a second one. But yeah, I think for this deck specifically, I really don't think a replacement for this card is extremely difficult in the current format, because if you're playing in a format where everyone else is playing their most powerful versions of their deck, this deck really needs this card because it is by far the best Link to Dark by a mile, and it is so hard to replace something like this, especially in a deck like this that works so well in tandem with something like Regained. So I really don't think that this card is replaceable. As much as I always say, I am pro budget, I love budget things, this card in this deck is such a unique aspect of what it does and what it can do that I want to play 2 of it as well. So I just don't think that there's a world where you can play like 1 of it you can get away with. 2 I think should be required, because there was a couple of times where I should have made 2 of these. I just don't own the second one, and that might be the Long Girsu spot, to be honest, where I can just play 2 SPs instead of the Long Girsu. So that is it for the extra deck, and then for the side deck, it was actually quite weird, which was 3 Veiler, 3 Crow, the 3rd Ash, 2 Druisworm, 3 Phantasme, and then 3 D-Barrier. I never put in D-Barrier. I never put in Phantasme because I never played against any Link decks. All of these went in going second against a couple matchups. So these, not always these went in, but they did go in sometimes. But it was just nice to have. You can actually cut a good amount going second of your Orcust package going second, which is very nice, because you really, that engine can be so minimal at what it does as just being extra bodies to fundamentally threaten things like Dingirsu and SP Little Knight, that it really makes a big impact, especially with the Bystial monsters next to them, of how many free bodies and pressure you're able to put going second and even threatening a battle phase, because you always don't have to start with the Runick card. You can threaten a battle phase still going second. So that's just something to keep in mind. So that's it for the deck, and let me show you the combo very quickly. Okay guys, so let's just say your hand is something like this, where we have 2 Runick spells and a Nightmare. Again, if this is Girsu, that's your other starter, it's perfectly fine. I'm just using Nightmare just because I think that this is will come up probably more. And again, keep in mind this combo also changes if you have a Dispotter in hand, or I'm sorry, if you have a Lubellion in hand. So there's different variations of combos with this deck, but they all pretty much end on the same thing, except for with a Bystial. The Bystial can make it change into something else. But so for this combo, we're just going to go Dispelling to summon our Hugin, and then our Hugin is going to pitch our Nightmare. So we are going to search our Fountain, and then we are able to use our Nightmare, send our Harp Horror, and then Harp Horror can use his effect to summon out Girsu, and then Girsu can use his effect to send the Symbol Skeleton. From here, we can link these 2 off into our Galatea. We are able to use the Galatea to put back the Orcust Nightmare to be able to set our Crescendo. Then we are able to overlay the Galatea into a Dingirsu, and then we can use our Fountain and activate our other Runick card to summon out Jerry. Make sure you summon Jerry, you must summon a Dark, keep that in mind. Then you can use your Fountain to draw an additional 2 cards, so I will just throw 2 more Runicks in my hand. So we will draw 2 cards here, and then we can link off these 2 into our IP Masquerena, and then we don't forget to attach Dingirsu, the Harp Horror, and then here you can use Symbol Skeleton to banish itself to bring back the Galatea pointing at the IP. And this was pretty much what I was doing most of the day. You're probably thinking this is not a lot, and you're right, it's not. This is not a absolutely crazy M board, but this board is extremely annoying because you got your 2 draws, you have extreme follow-up with the Orcust package being able to threaten a slur of extra deck monsters that you are able to push through, as well as the Orcust cards generating, or the Runick cards generating more value and pressure as you go. Dingirsu is a menace going back, like when it comes back to you. This card is extremely annoying. So yeah, you get a lot of good value here. This is just the Nightmare line. The Girsu line's a little bit better. I think that one ends with Skeleton in the Grave as well, or back in deck, I forget. But this can be not banished. But again, it's fine because we play the Wand in this version, so it's okay. And again, we can always summon Ding again later on to be able to reattach the Symbol Skeleton. But that is going to be it for this. Oh, and you can also use Disbater to bring back Orcust cards too. That is super relevant. Being able to use Disbater to summon back out the Orcust monsters is super important if you can use Girsu and manipulate it to be a tuner with a Bystial. So again, the Bystial monsters do add value to all aspects of this deck, especially Regained, but Disbater too, being able to recycle what you need at the same time. So that's just a quick combo. I feel like that's what you want to go for most of the time. This is usually enough going first. It's not like this crazy M board that does a million things, but trust me, this is just enough when your entire deck is interruptions anyway between Ash, other Runicks, and you have a negate. SP Little Knight's 2 negates on its own. You're baiting a battle phase, so the game's going to prolong to what you want in your favor. So that is going to be it for the combo and the deck profile. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please subscribe if you did. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I will try my best to answer them. But until then, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.